Life feeling a bit ordinary? Travel choices a bit tame? Head beyond the asteroid belt for an out-of-this-world experience. Welcome to Jupiter, home of high adrenaline adventure. Plunge into its mysterious depths.
You drop through the clouds, it would get darker and darker, hotter and hotter. At the center, the temperatures are hotter than the surface of the sun, and the pressures are unimaginably high.
Stormy on the inside and stormy on the outside.
I like to watch hurricanes on TV. You know, the Great Red Spot being the biggest hurricane that we know of, and it having been there for 400 years. To see this would be pretty cool.
Want more bang for your buck? Thrill seekers should head to Io, Jupiter's exotic moon of fire and brimstone.
To see Io just blasting off these huge volcanic plumes covered in glowing volcanoes, it would be a pretty amazing place to see.
Escape Io's hot zone with a dive into the ice-covered alien ocean of neighboring Europa. Just the place for a close encounter of the weirdest kind.
Is there a reason to go to Europa? You bet. It's a totally unexplored world, and it probably has the highest probability of life off this planet.
Choose Jupiter, and a change of scenery is guaranteed. With its 62 alien moons to explore, out here, there is something for everyone. Tempted? There has never been a better time to take a giant leap to where no human has gone before. To follow in the footsteps of our robot pioneers and explore the planets of our solar system.
Oh man, that's incredible. My golly, this time goes fast.
A tour of the solar system wouldn't be complete without a visit to its largest planet. But with the grandest sights, biggest dangers, and greatest mysteries all on the itinerary, it pays to brush up before blast-off. Consider this your personal guide to exploring the kingdom of Jupiter. Enter the court of an alien giant.
Jupiter is one of the most spectacular places in the solar system. If you are approaching by spacecraft, you could see from a long distance the cloud patterns of Jupiter. It's incredibly complex, constantly changing multicolored clouds that are like nothing else in the solar system.
Jupiter takes its name from the Roman king of the gods. Fitting for the brooding and mysterious king of the planets. Calling it the biggest planet in the solar system doesn't do it justice. Jupiter is a world so roomy that it could swallow every planet and moon in the solar system and still have room for more.
If you move the Earth, you could put it inside the Great Red Spot, which is the largest storm there, and there are several other spots that are about Earth size. So everything on Jupiter is big.
You can fit 1,000 Earths inside Jupiter. It's huge, and yet it's quite underdense. It's made of almost entirely hydrogen and helium.
This giant gas bag is built from the flimsiest materials in the universe. But for all its squishy bulk, it's a great little mover. Jupiter spins at such breakneck speed that it bulges at the equator. So fast, in fact, that a day here lasts less than 10 hours. the shortest of all the planets. Our gaze was first drawn to the attractions of Jupiter 400 Earth years ago, when Italian astronomer Galileo pointed his telescope toward the planet on January 7th, 1610. His curious novelty quickly became one of the most powerful scientific instruments of all time, and turned our world on its head.
What he saw for the first time was that Jupiter had 4 moons, and he could see those 4 moons were going around the planet. And this is what really first told him that the Earth couldn't possibly be the center. Here were objects going around something other than the Earth.
It was a revelation. Io, Europa, Callisto, and Ganymede. Were these worlds like our own, circling a distant master? It's a cosmic experience anyone with a backyard telescope can have. Point at Jupiter and you'll see for yourself.
Jupiter is like a little miniature solar system by itself. It has many moons, 4 of which are very large and bright, the rest of which are very small and faint. But these moons are all different.
The court of the king of the planets is crowded. At last count, an entourage of 62 moons was in attendance, all dancing to Jupiter's heavy gravitational tune. It's even crowned by a trio of faint gossamer rings. Jupiter is a planet that knows how to exert its influence on the solar system, and how to impress even the seasoned traveler. You can fly around the Earth in a jumbo jet in less than 2 days. Try this on Jumbo Jupiter, and you'll be in the air for 3 solid weeks, refueling about 50 times. Not only will you get sick of the food, there's nowhere to land.
You don't actually have a surface of Jupiter. You shine a big, strong radar pulse at Jupiter, and what you get back is 4 tiny blips. You see the moons of Jupiter just fine. In fact, we can study them by radar. Jupiter isn't there. It's like a stealth planet. If you had radar eyes, you'd wonder what these things were circling.
Boys, you know, this is all getting down into your work.
For a stealthy planet, Jupiter makes a big blip on the space travel radar, and it's a target worth the trip. The best way to test fly a trip to Jupiter is to retrace the extraordinary journey of the only spacecraft to orbit it. Launched by shuttle, the Galileo spacecraft left Earth in 1989 for an odyssey that lasted 14 years. The first 3 were spent simply trying to leave the neighborhood with enough speed to go the distance. 3 times farther than Mars, about 500 million miles, the road to Jupiter is a long one, with a few bumps along the way.
Asteroids! You are there as they brave the staggering showers.
Halfway there, you bump into the asteroid belt.
It's not like in the movies where you're dodging asteroids at every second. It's the space is very big and the asteroids are a long distance apart, so you could travel through it quite safely.
The next thing you run into you can't avoid: the leading edge of Jupiter's magnetosphere. It's invisible, but the sound is like a signpost.
It's like you hit